Hi, we're in the Dake Manor,
Yes, you can actually see the dog treats up there.
right there.
This whole room is nothing but dogs.
If I touch this, the doggies go crazy.
They do, so you better not do it. That's funny. Well, hi everybody. Welcome to lunchtime. We thought we would give this a try.
Yeah.
And let me tag some people. You want to hit tag?
I like when I get to do
Yes.
it. Once in a while, I get to.
Tag, tag, tag. Because we're on opposite sides today.
Yes, we are. Okay.
Cool. Now everybody's tagged.
Yeah, there. Ding.
Well, today we're really moving along pretty fast in this.
Here we are.
It's kind of cool.
It's going pretty good.
Yeah. So today is 1 Corinthians 7.
Chapter 7.
Woohoo! And we split it up. This one was a little bit longer. And Rick's got the first half.
Okay.
You're funny.
So, it was actually an interesting chapter. I actually haven't, I guess I really hadn't studied Corinthians as much as I thought I did. There's just certain things in it, but, so I'm learning stuff.
I'm finding it really neat, but I mean, you even know more than me, but I am finding it very neat.
I guess I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Paul starts off this chapter by answering questions. I mean, the Corinthians, I guess somebody had been writing to Paul, and they had questions like, should a person be married or not? What about specific duties of a marriage? And is the ending of a marriage permissible? Like if a person was a Christian, basically, and they became a Christian, the other person that wasn't a Christian, is it okay to divorce them? And I'm not going to answer all these questions, but
There, is that better?
hi. So the problem was, with Corinth and all the sexual immorality and things like that was going on. So it was so bad they didn't know which way to go, and so I guess they had written Paul about those. And some people had the idea that because of sexual sin and marital confusion in Corinth, that it would just be better to be single. They just thought that'd be more spiritual, and even thinking more spiritual to be celibate. But what can and has happened at different times in the church is this idea has led to some like falsely pious people. They come to believe that being single and virginity is greater than being married. Well, God himself is the one who instituted marriage. I mean, that's where it comes from.
True.
And Moses was married, and Aaron was married, and Adam and Eve were married, obviously. And but even Peter in the New Testament, he was married. I mean, the apostles were married. Not all of them, obviously. Paul wasn't married, but so the idea of these verses about is not to elevate singleness so much in celibacy as it is to teach that. I lost my spot. I didn't want to do that.
Hi, Mom. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Mom. So even they thought it was more spiritual to be celibate, basically the bottom line. And what can happen at different times, it did happen in churches, is people actually did divorce their wives. There was actually popes and stuff like that who pressed issues to priests to get rid of their wives to be more pious.
Because in the old days, priests used to be married.
Yeah, they were married. I mean,
Or could be married, I should say.
Yeah, and so
Mr. Diggle's going to walk right in front of us.
hey, Mr. Diggles. I know, he just got back from the doctor.
Yes, he had something in his toe.
Yeah. So.
Well, while you're playing with Diggles, I'll do my half.
Go ahead.
So my half is kind of the same as Rick's, but Paul is explaining the benefits of being single compared to being married. And there's nothing wrong with being single, and there's nothing wrong with being married. But what Paul is saying is whichever one you're called to do, make sure that your devotion is still to God. Put God first and not lose focus of that.
That's good.
And so he was saying, because he was concerned that if you're married, and Paul knew that, because remember, he's enlightened by the Holy Spirit. And so John MacArthur's notes were even saying that. He knows that he didn't know in 10 years, but, don't forget, in 10 years, the Romans come in and destroy Corinth. And so to completely demolish it. And so Paul is concerned that when you're married and you have kids, your focus sometimes can be off of God, because if trials and tribulations come, or you're tested or thrown in jail, you think differently when you're married and have kids compared to when you're by yourself. Because when you're by yourself, you're like, okay, I can handle this. But when you're married, you think, what about your spouse, or what about your kids? And sometimes you may not suffer for God because you don't want your spouse to suffer. So that's what he's talking about in my section, was that sometimes when you're married, you can lose sight of that because there's more pressures and more stress. So that was kind of interesting. And just either way you do it, though, just make sure God's first.
I like that.
And then he also understands that if you're single, you only have to just, like I said, worry about yourself, which is hard enough too. So he's not saying one's easy. Well, he is saying single life is easier in that context.
Yeah, in the
So.
second part. That guy, okay, Diggle's left. That guy, Pastor Bob, that we watch, he's a heavy metal pastor of Sanctuary International. And he decided early on to be celibate out of respect for marriage. He said that he wasn't trying to be holy or anything like that. He was just saying that he knew he'd be traveling and everything like that, and he did. For years, this guy traveled around different countries and stuff like that. And he said that he wouldn't have the time to devote to a wife what a person needed.
Right.
So he decided to leave that part of his life out. And he's been blessed with the ability to be celibate. So,
That's cool.
I mean, there's different reasons for it. It's just, it has to be the right reasons.
Well, it shouldn't be forced because it's not going to work if it's forced.
Well, and then God also, again, God's ordained it. And Paul, actually, in his other letters, celebrates marriage. In Ephesians and things like that. So, gotta look at the Bible as a whole.
That's right.
Okay.
Well,
that was that.
Yes, thanks for hanging out with lunchtime for us.
We're in bed. We're going to take a nap.
That'd be nice. My lunch is from 12:30 to 1, so we got 8 minutes.
Oh, all right.
Snooze. You guys want to watch us sleep?
All right.
All right. Well, we love you. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.